Welcome to Project 78. Hey, we're going to be doing a thermostat on my daughter's Chevy Sonic LT. This has the 1.4 liter Ecotech engine in it. Should be pretty straightforward. She brought the car home yesterday and realized it had an antifreeze leak. She had a puddle underneath the car, so we're going to check it out here. I did have this thing apart yesterday. Where it's leaking is in between the housing itself and the intake. There's like a rubber gasket in there. I bought the new one already. I have it. We're going to be putting that in today. Like I said, pretty straightforward. So let's see how it goes. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this section of intake. This intake plenum here all has to come off. This piece comes off. It's like a 45-degree elbow that connects down to the intake on the engine. We just got, there's a couple sensors under here you got to be careful of. I'll show you when I get to them. I actually broke one yesterday trying to get it off, but it's going to be fine. It's going to work fine. I'm going to start by taking this section off because the actual thermostat is buried underneath here. Not sure if I don't think I'll be able to get a shot of it. But once I have it more open, I'll give you another shot of it. All right, here's the new thermostat. I'll put the part number. I believe this is an aftermarket, but I'll put the part number. It's made by Motorad. I'll put it in the description so you guys have it. I bought it at Advance Auto, probably third party, but it should do the trick. Here's the gasket I was talking about. As you can see, it goes around, and that's where it meets up with the intake. And I think that's where it went bad. I think the seal is bad. We'll find out when we get the other one off. First thing we're doing is removing the clamps here. Should come off pretty easy. Again, I had this off yesterday, so everything's nice and loose. If you're doing this for the first time, it might be stuck in here a little bit. This piece here was a little bit more of a pain to pull off. There's like a rubber seal under here. Alright, well, that's one way to get it off. Now the seal is still there. I guess that's okay. Yesterday when I had it off, this seal came off the aluminum pipe here. Okay, we should be fine. One thing you might want to do is stuff a rag in this intake. You obviously don't want anything falling down in there. Okay, now we're getting down to the sensors. What I'll do is I'll bring the camera around, I'll show you these sensors and how to take them off. There's a process for each one. There's little clips. This one here. There's like a spring-loaded, I don't know, it's like a ring on it, and you got a clamp. You got to kind of squeeze it, and then it pulls off. I'll show you. Okay, this is the first sensor we're taking off. Hopefully you'll be able to see that enough. But there's a sensor right here. And what there is, I don't know if you can see, there's a ring here. And what you're going to want to do is squeeze that. You'll find the section that's kind of elevated. And what that does is pull in that direction. I'm assuming this is some type of flow sensor. So we'll get that one off. Your next one is right here. You can kind of see the thermostat housing down here now, but I would assume this is a water temperature sensor, so that's got to come off. And there was another one I took off, which is, I'll see if I can get more of the sensors off here so you can see better. But there's a sensor right under here, and that looks like a cam position sensor or something, but that's also going to come off, and that'll kind of open up this area right here for us to work a little better. Okay, we got the sensors unplugged. You see here's one here, the one down there that was on that tube, that's off. So we can see a little better now our housing, and there's bolts accessible here on the top. There's one on the left here, and there's one here, and there's one underneath. I can show you on the new housing. It's that one's definitely difficult to get to. So it's positioned this way. So the top two, obviously, we can see here and over here. This bottom one, where my pinky is, that one's definitely tough to get to. I can already see it's going to be a challenge to get these hose clamps off on that smaller hose and the larger one. Obviously, there's not much room here to work, so we're going to definitely do the best we can. I can tell you, you're definitely going to need a 5/16 wrench. That's going to be the only thing that's going to give you access to that difficult bolt that's underneath. You have to come at it from underneath, on the left-hand side underneath. That's how I was able to get to it yesterday. So I'm going to work on that. We'll get the hoses taken off. My lighting here is not very good. You can see the hose clamp down there. And there's a larger one up on top here that we're going to get off as well. And we'll isolate that housing, and we'll get the bolts out, take that off, and we'll catch up with you in a little bit. Hey, so room is a commodity here for sure. So there's a line here. I'm going to make some more room for myself. And as you're doing these projects, you're going to realize the more room you can make for yourself, the better. Even if it is a little bit more work, just take the time. So this line here comes underneath and connects to your coolant reservoir. So I'm going to take this hose off and drain it. I got a little container here. I'm going to hopefully catch most of that coolant, and we'll be able to get that hose out of the way for more room to work. All right, success. Let that drain for a little bit. And now we're going to be able to get this hose out of the way. Just like that. So getting that hose out of the way definitely helped. So the front coolant hose is off of the housing, and there's a little clip here. I'll show you. This clip here kind of slips in on the side. The other hose I have stuffed down here, and maybe when I get it back together, I'll show you how the clip goes in there. But it's definitely tough to record this, guys. I'm sorry. There's not a lot of room here, but hopefully you can see that. There's the front inlet. And like I said, there's a plastic housing on the hose, and it just pulls off once you get that clip off. Pulls straight out. So now we have pretty good access here. As you can definitely see, the top two bolts, that one and this one. And like I said, there's another one underneath over here on the corner. That's a little more difficult to get to. But now that I have the hose off and everything, it should be a little easier. There's another hose down here with clamps on it, and it's almost impossible to get a wrench down in there or a pair of pliers to squeeze that clamp. So my idea here is to take the housing off And hopefully there's enough play in that hose down there. I'll be able to lift it up a little bit and have more access to that clamp and get it off that way. Okay, success. We were able to get the housing off. No problems. Actually, the idea worked really well to take the housing off first and manipulate that lower hose and work the clamp and get it up into a more accessible area. That's this hose right here. You can see there's one of those spring-loaded clips on there. You just get a pair of pliers on there and squeeze it. I usually move the clamp down the hose a little bit. And you might gotta work the hose loose a little bit. Might be stuck. But this is the housing is plastic. Once I started taking the housing apart off the intake, there was broken pieces in there. I'll show you. I got it on the bench here. I'll show you. Okay, here's the one that came off. And obviously you can see there's some broken plastic here. So over here on the new one, you can see there's a clamp here that holds the spring down for the thermostat. And there's like these little plastic tabs right there on each side. And that's exactly what broke on the old one. So if you come over here, so here's that clamp, here's the spring underneath. That spring was here. This clamp was something like this. And obviously once those clips broke, here's your gasket, kind of sits there. And once that plastic broke, it warped, or it definitely like manipulated how that gasket seats against the intake. And that's what caused the leak. So this really needed to be replaced anyway because it was internally broke. So new one obviously is going to bolt on and reverse procedure here. Okay, I just wanted to stop for a second. I've got the new housing bolted on and the hose is attached back to the housing. Again, not a lot of room here. But I wanted to take a minute here and show you that clip that I mentioned earlier. This guy right here. If you can see that groove right here, the clip just kind of fits right into that groove and it pushes in from the left to the right. There's no trick to it. It's looks like it's you can put it on either direction. It's the same. It just kind of slides on there. Okay, and what that does is lock on that hose to the housing so it doesn't pull off. Okay, we're going to get our sensors plugged back in here. And all these connectors are unique, so you can't mix them up. Snap that one back in. And also, this is the one that I broke. It has kind of like a guard here. And it keeps that clip from accidentally, I guess, releasing itself. But I don't think, it still clips on fine. So you may have to do the same because it's kind of a pain to get that out. That snaps back on there. And this guy here, that just snaps in. Alright, I'm gonna have to manipulate that. It's kind of hard to do this one-handed, so I'll do that off camera. But that's essentially how that goes. That snaps on there. And next is, after all that gets put on, you put your air hoses back on, your intake plenum, the ones we took off earlier, and that's going to finish it up. We'll get this thing started and make sure there's no leaks. Okay, we got everything back together. Air intake all set. All the clamps are tight. We're going to get this thing started. Also, just wanted to mention, refill your reservoir. Anything that you may have lost out of the system, just make sure you refill it. 50-50 mix. And we're going to have to start this thing up and make sure there's no leaks. All right, success, guys. Everything worked out great. Took it for a spin around the block, and everything's great with the exception of we have a high-pitched squealing noise coming from, I don't know if it's a belt or a bearing, but something may have gotten wet when I pulled the hoses off and there was antifreeze dripping down. So we're gonna have to get that addressed. But other than that, the leak is gone. I'm hoping whatever that is not going to be a huge issue. But we'll keep an eye on it and I'll keep you updated. And if we have to change anything, I'll post another video. Other than that, we're all set. The Cutlass still sits here waiting for its brake system and I do have intentions of getting that done this year, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to get the parts ordered up, and we're going to start that project of getting the rear disc conversion on the Cutlass. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helps somebody out, and have a good one. Okay, quick update on the car. So I think I left off the video where I was telling you there was a whistling noise coming from the engine. The check engine light was on. So I found the problem. I went online and did some searching on whistling noises, and I found out that this the PCV valve hose right here connects your valve down to where I was working on that fitting. And I'll show you the fitting here. What happened was this groove right here. Hopefully you can see that. There's a groove there, and there was an O-ring. That O-ring either fell off, broke, whatever. Wasn't there, so it wasn't making a proper seal. And I went on Amazon, bought a new one, hooked it up. Check engine light is now out, and the whistling noise is gone. So I just wanted to update you guys in case anyone runs into that. And another thing to note too is this hose was brittle, extremely brittle. You can almost snap it with one hand. Well, pretty much right there. There you go. So all the heat made the plastic really brittle. So that was another problem. So I'm kind of glad that this was replaced. The only tricky part of replacing this was there's a vacuum hose that kind of follows this around. And there's a fitting underneath here in the back of the engine. It's a little bit difficult to get to, but with a little perseverance, you can get it. All right, so that pretty much concludes the video. I'm glad I fixed it and resolved that problem for my daughter. Now the car runs well, nice and smooth. And yeah, so hey, thanks for watching, guys, and appreciate it. We'll see you next time.